Denmark and Greenland during Trump's first term. Carla Sands. Carla, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Anna.
All right. Well, Trump is set to meet with Zelensky on Monday. What do you expect to see?
Well, President Trump was elected to get the United States out of foreign wars. And after this summit yesterday with Vladimir Putin, I'm hearing leaks from inside that Vladimir Putin is willing to give up some of his territorial dreams and he wants a peace deal. And so now Zelensky coming in on Monday, I think there's going to have to be that hard talk about him ratcheting back his expectations. They're both dug in with hard lines and both sides are going to have to compromise. But the United States voters who voted for President Trump do not want to use taxpayer funds to go rebuild Ukraine, to give Ukraine a security guarantee. I don't think Americans are interested in that. The Europeans are certainly welcome to do that. They seem very, very engaged. This is part of Europe, Ukraine. So I'm excited to see what Europe will do. It was sad to see them try to scuttle this summit between Vladimir Putin and President Trump. That was the first step to get toward peace, if you will. And so they want to have a voice. Good. If they want to give security guarantees, that's fine. But the United States should not be paying for security guarantees for Ukraine, not paying for weapons. And that goes from our Congress. They should not be sending billions more. So we want to rebuild the United States. That's what President Trump was elected to do.
Yeah, he wants America first. And here's a little bit more of what he said. So this was a 3.5-hour summit. We'd expected it to potentially go even longer. But here's a bit more of what he said as he wrapped it up. Listen.
We had an extremely productive meeting and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there.
I think it's important to note, look, ahead of this meeting, our viewers probably remember Trump said there wouldn't even be a second meeting if Putin didn't agree to a ceasefire. And so critics are saying that Trump is now sort of backtracking here because he's teasing this other meeting, while the United States also isn't enacting fresh, stricter, more stringent economic sanctions. What do you think about those critics?
Sure. Well, when you're in a meeting and you're doing a deal, things change. And the idea of going straight to peace rather than a ceasefire, which President Trump said those can fall apart, I mean, that sounds much more permanent, much more promising. And the fact that Putin wants that, a permanent peace, not a ceasefire, which could be temporary, is, I think, encouraging. I think that he and the investors from Russia who came with him to Alaska are seeing business opportunities. They're thinking they can get into the global market again. That he is so isolated, both in business and politically, that to be welcomed back into the community of nations and build wealth, not just wartime wealth, but good wealth in a virtuous economy, in a free market in Russia would be fantastic for the investors and the builders in Russia, manufacturers and all those folks.
Yeah, Ambassador, earlier in the show, we had a former ambassador to Ukraine on the show, and he said the only language that that Putin really understands is when there is a real pressure, I mean, hard. And these economic sanctions that we've had so far don't appear to be working so far. And then we've had our war correspondent, Robert Sherman, out in Ukraine doing some phenomenal reporting. But you've got these air raid sirens going off right before the summit, right after the summit. I mean, is Putin really, has he come into play?
I think he's serious. I think that there's pressure from outside because of the threat of the tariffs, the extra tariffs on Russian energy. India buys a lot of Russian energy, so does China. If they get hit with 50 or 100% tariffs, that's devastating to their economies. So I think both leaders and maybe others who are buying Russian energy picked up the phone and said to Putin, show up at that meeting, let's get this resolved, enough is enough. And the war would end tomorrow if China stopped financing this war.
It's interesting how all of this is all interconnected, isn't it? Former ambassador to Denmark and Greenland, Carla Sands, sorry we are out of time, but great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna.
Well, this is new today.